2, 1, action!
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sinead Says podcast. It is Endometriosis Awareness Month, so I thought no better time to do my full endo story. I don't know why I've never done my full endometriosis story, but I feel like today I'm going to go through it just so if you feel like you think you could possibly have endo, or you want to look for symptoms, or you just simply have endo and you want to look for other people's perspectives and how they manage their pain, then this is the podcast for you. Before I go into the podcast, I just want to talk about the sponsor, which is BetterHelp, which has personally helped me through my chronic illness diagnosis. And anyone who has a chronic illness will know that it is very hard to deal with in the little head. And sometimes it can really, really get to us. But through therapy, I have really gained a better mindset. And it has really given me the tools to go forward, because sometimes it can really, really take over your brain and you can go down this negative spiral. But therapy has just really, really pulled me out of that. And it is something that I really, really needed through this chronic illness diagnosis. So if you would like to start therapy, you can get 10% off your first month with betterhelp.com/Sinead. That is betterhelp.com/Sinead. Okay. Getting into my endometriosis story. So first of all, it didn't really start with endometriosis. It started with adenomyosis. So that was the first diagnosis, but that took a very long time. I have had pain for years, but from 2020 to 2022, I was in extreme pain every single day. I woke up I used to be pain in the evenings. My food was digesting at the very end of the day, which kind of seems like something that I thought was quite normal, having constant bloating, especially in the evening. But then when my bloating started getting in the morning, it wasn't even my bloating, it was more like my organs were literally feeling like they were popping out of my body every single morning I would wake up. So when I was used to waking up and being like, okay, I've slept, I feel a bit better. And then it came to having constant feeling like my organs were popping out of my body. So it was just like a massive amount of pressure, a massive amount of pain, a lot of pain around ovulation. So that's there was like 2 years of this pain and then very strange periods. So the reason why I ruled out endometriosis for a very long time is because the usual endometriosis diagnosis is really heavy periods and really, really painful periods. And I had painful periods, but nothing to what I assumed would be endometriosis. That was why I kind of ruled it out for a little bit. But the more I kind of learned about it, I was like, okay, maybe this is it. Yeah, my periods were not, they are now very different. But back then I was really lacking in blood. I was having a lot of blood clots. I was having... Yeah, it just wasn't what to be honest, every month kept getting worse in terms of what my period looked like. I was like, this cannot be normal, like these blood clots, but like hardly anything. But so that's why everybody's endometriosis journey can be very different, because other people can have like severely heavy periods. I actually have severely heavy periods now. But that was one of my first few symptoms. But I obviously didn't know I had this for a very long time. So I had all this pain and I had hair loss and I had extreme fatigue, especially in the evenings, like exhaustion, like a real exhaustion. I had congestion in my muscles, very painful muscles in my back, pain going up my back, couldn't figure it out what it was at all. And then there was a point where I started getting really eye sensitivity and stuff like that. Like, it was just getting like a lot, everything. I think like what was happening there was I was just gaining a lot of endometriosis tissue. So first I want to talk about the definition of endometriosis and adenomyosis before I go fully into my symptoms. So I firstly want to talk about adenomyosis versus endometriosis. So adenomyosis is a sister to endometriosis. So endometriosis is a disease in which tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows outside the uterus. Can cause severe pain in the pelvis and make it harder to get pregnant. Endometriosis can start at a person's first menstrual period and last up until menopause. And this is versus adenomyosis, which is a condition in which the endometrial tissue exists within and grows within the uterine wall. Endometriosis can be anywhere. It can be all of your organs. Like I've heard somebody said that they were in their ribs, like literally like these lumps of tissue around your organs. And mine kind of situated all around my lower abdomen and around my water pipes and a bit of I can't remember if it was on my bowels, but it was around that area on the left side anyway. So yeah, those two are just sisters. All right. So the difference is, I would say that, and obviously I have both, because if you have adenomyosis, it comes with endometriosis. It's hard for me to distinguish what the difference in my symptoms are, but apparently there's a lot of pressure with adenomyosis because your womb is, I don't know how many millimeters bigger, but I can feel my womb. It is quite large and it's quite swollen and it's quite tender. So it's quite inflamed because it's all within the uterine wall. So the difference is, like, adenomyosis can only be cured when it is hysterectomy, all right? Whereas endometriosis is also chronic, but you can take it out and you can have relief from pain. Like, you can go in, you can scrape it off, or whatever they do in your laparoscopy. They take out your endometrial tissue, but it can grow back. There's obviously ways to, like, manage pain and stuff like that, but most of the time they are chronic illnesses. Once you know the knowledge of endometriosis and adenomyosis, it does help ease, because you can find ways to manage your pain. But I just wanted to say that what they are and, like, what causes it. And obviously it is severely painful. And I think a lot of people do talk about it being one of the most painful things ever. And I can agree. The only way I can describe the pain is like stabbing. I'm actually getting my period right now, so I am feeling it right now. So I can describe to you right now what it feels like. And it's crazy because it's like an invisible disease, because you can see me right here. I'm able and well sitting here giving you the energy that you need. But, like, there is a striking pain up my left side, and also my stomach is all swollen and I can't go to the toilet because everything is swollen and inflamed. So yeah, here are a few of my symptoms. Kyle just just told me that he was really impacted by the picture I put on my Instagram once. So basically I just goes, hey guys, this is going to be a bit graphic, but sometimes endometriosis can look invisible, but the pain is so striking. So sometimes it's hard to say to your friends, hey, I can't come tonight because I'm in pain from my endo. But, like, you can see me, I have energy. Like, I feel fine, but, like, it's exhausting sometimes. And I said, hey, the only way I can describe, like, say, for example, like, my boyfriend or my friends, I'm like, this is what it looks like inside me. And I'll show them a picture of, like, what it looks like. And it's really graphic. It looked really sore. It was taken by a surgeon. It was actually a Sydney surgeon that took that photo, but I'm still trying to get the photos back from my surgery. It's really hard to get them from the hospital, but anyway. So my main symptoms were striking pain in the abdomen. Sometimes I would have to just go home from dinner and stuff. Like, I can't honestly wear jeans ever. I don't know. And it's mad because I always wondered how people could wear them. And every time I wore them, I was just so uncomfortable. And then I'd be like wanting to go home because I was so uncomfortable, because, like, obviously I was in pain, and that pressure on top of there would never have been well. I also had a lot of hair loss, but I feel like hair loss was kind of coming at the end, because it was like everything's failing, a lot is going on, like, please see me, please hear me. I feel like my body was, like, screaming at this point. I had a lot of, I did say all this, but anyway, my ovulation was really painful ovulation. And I also want to note that I was on the implant for 11 years. And when I come off the implant, I always had some stomach issues and some digestion issues, but, like, obviously I started hitting the fan when I was a bit older and I had come off the implant, and all these things kind of just came about. Yeah, bloating most of the day, waking up every morning, and also not being able to go to the toilet. Constipation is a massive one. The effect on your bowels is probably, honestly, it's actually the hardest thing for me, not being able to go to the toilet and having these times of constipation. Like, that is probably, like, I hate that the most. And you know that when you have all that stuff inside you, it's not good for you either to have all that bacteria inside you. It causes other issues, and then it's just a whole body disease, and that's what they call it, a whole body disease. And then I had pain during and after sex. So pain, I would have a very low uterus as well. So it's very graphic, sorry, but it's a very low uterus. So anything hitting it, and it's obviously inflamed and it's painful, and yeah. That's what happened. Or it's a little bit painful, but it depends. Like, certain positions are a no-go. Sorry to my poor boyfriend, but they're a no-go. And if they go, then I pay for it. So yeah, that is one of the symptoms. And I just want to talk about, the journey to getting diagnosed, because people can be waiting years and years and years to be diagnosed. And I am here to help you push. I pushed. And from the help of my friends, I ended up getting answers. So 2 years with, like, a lot of pain. I went back to the doctor time and time again. These are some of the excuses that I got. Oh, you must be stressed. Well, okay. right? The next thing that the doctor told me was that I had muscle pain. I maybe pulled a muscle in my ab. I remember that day being like, please, 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 can you just feel my organs? Can you just put your hand here and feel how inflamed that is? And tell me, he's like, oh, it's just the time of month. It's just normal for a woman. Then when my hair started falling out, and I mean, I could barely see because honestly, my eyes were so sensitive, like my body was shutting down. I had congestion in my muscles. I was kind of at a really bad stage. And also you don't know what it is. So you can't help it with the diet and the things to help endo because you don't know what it is. I went to the doctors and I was like, my hair is falling out in clumps. I'm in severe pain. I cannot stay awake. I'm so tired. Please. I was honestly like pleading, like, please help me. Check my bloods. Bloods come back normal. Bloods come back normal. Bloods come back normal. Constant bloods coming back normal. And I gave up. I just gave up. I was like, I can't keep going to the doctors with this pain. I must be making it up. Like, this must be just normal for everyone to just get this pain whilst on their period, whilst ovulating and everyday life. So that was that for a little while. I kind of left it. And I actually lived in Bali then. And when I lived in Bali, I just used to go out for dinner with my friends and I have to leave because I would be so much pain. I honestly would have my hand in my pants. What's that movie when they have their hand in their pants? Oh yeah, no, it's Joey from Friends when he has got the hernia. Like, I would be like that. I'd be like, oh, guys, oh my God. I'd be like that sometimes. And my friends like Siobhan and Becca were like, Sinead, you need to go to the doctor. This is not normal. And there was a few things that I just like knew I wasn't normal, like my hormones as well. Like I would have severe PMS for 10 days before my period, spot bleed before, like lots of different things. And I lived with Siobhan, and Siobhan is such a normal hormonal cycle. She would just get her period and be like, oh, got my period. I'm like, oh my God, you don't know 10 days before that you're going to get your period. Like, she's like, not like a day before. And then I would just come and I'm like, I would have like severe pain in my boobs. I would have like just constant bloating, emotional, like really, really intense hormonal fluctuations. And that was a symptom as well. Noticing that she was so normal, I was like, what is that? And she told me to read the period repair manual. I actually had that author on the podcast. I think if you go down a few episodes or see another few seasons, you will find her. Lara Bryden, I had her on. Read this book called The Period Repair Manual. And basically everything that was happening to me was completely not normal. And I just thought it was normal. These things are not normal. Bloating, blood clotting, hair falling out, severe boob pain. Like, these things are not normal, all right? They shouldn't be happening. So your period is meant to be a report card for your health. So I started to realize that very quickly that something was definitely wrong. But at this point, I don't think I was diagnosed. I was still going to the doctors getting normal blood tests or whatever. But when I was in Bali, the girls kept pushing. They're like, Sinead, this is not normal. This is not normal. I remember going to Savaya Beach Club, and every time I went to like a beach club, you know, like if I was going to like a beach club, like a party, I would always wear like a swimsuit because like I'm constantly uncomfortable. It hurts me to like, I know for me to like take a photo and like hold it in my stomach, it's so painful, you know, like I just felt uncomfortable. So that's why like you see me in a baggy clothes right now. I like baggy clothes because that makes me feel comfortable. But I realized when they were all wearing bikinis and I was like, do you not feel like uncomfortable at like a party? Like, you know, there's loads of people there. Like, do you not get bloated? And they were like, no. And I was like, maybe there is something wrong with me because I just used to feel so uncomfortable in the stitches, and I wasn't uncomfortable because my body felt like I felt fat or anything. I was uncomfortable because I was in pain and I didn't want to like have to like sit there and like because I was bloated. I wanted to just wear a swimsuit and feel better. So I was like, okay, this doesn't feel right. I couldn't wear jeans and started to feel like, okay, this is not normal. The girls really kept pushing for me to go back to the hospital. I went back, and that was when I got, maybe it's a muscle. I actually had a scan. I had a full scan, ultrasound, nothing was found. And I remember thinking, like, being so scared that it was like a tumor, because obviously my organs on my left side were kind of really bulging out. And when he said nothing's there, I was like, okay, I don't have cancer. Everything's fine. Okay, that's fine. Then I went back again, because in Bali they have this thing, which is, they don't have this in the UK. And it's basically, you can get a full reproductive check. You can literally pay, I think it was like 270 quid. I can't remember. And they scan your breast. They do all your blood tests. They give you a smear test, and they scan your internal you give you an ultrasound and they give you an internal examination. So the first things I had to do was do my bloods and do a smear, and then they came back abnormal. So I went back in. She gave me a transvaginal ultrasound, which is basically like an internal scan. And this is where they diagnosed adenomyosis for the first time. So with endometriosis, this is why it's so hard to get diagnosed, because you cannot diagnose it unless you go in with a laparoscopy at this point in where we are with science or where we are with medicine. So people are very reluctant to actually give you that, because they're like, oh, here's just hormonal birth control. This will stop the pain. And if it doesn't stop the pain, then we need to go in because it's that bad. So usually if your birth control is not helping your pain anymore, your endo's that bad and they probably need to go in. So at this point, I got diagnosed because adenomyosis is in the womb. So they seen it. And the person that took me for that scan, I had already got a scan before. Can I just say this? And they didn't see anything. This person that took the scan, she dealt with endometriosis and adenomyosis. And also there's a bit of a language bar. I was in Bali, so I basically thought that it was like endo. She said like endometriosis sister, so I was, okay, endo. But then when she wrote it down, it was like adenomyosis, sister of endometriosis. And I was like, okay, fine. So I went home, Googled it. Don't do that. What is the cure of adenomyosis? The only cure is hysterectomy. And I was just like, crying. Like I literally went to bed that night and I just cried myself to sleep. I just thought I can't have a baby. I honestly went through this whole ordeal of I'm not gonna be able to have a baby. I'm gonna have a hysterectomy if I want to get rid of this pain. Like actually at that time I just thought like I just had to get a hysterectomy. Like that's what I Googled and that's what I found. And then this is my number one thing. Do not do this. Do not go into Facebook support groups. They are the devil. I went in there and it was just like hysterectomy and horrible pain. And I was just like, wow, oh my God, my brain. And it was the worst thing I could have done. Like just go into those groups and just, then I spoke to a hormonal health coach. And she was like, girl, people of my clients have this and I help them with their pain management. We need to manage it. You can manage it with this and that. And that made me feel so much better. I was like, oh my God, really? She's like, yeah, you can manage this. You don't need to get a hysterectomy. You don't need to do this. And I was like, okay, I can breathe. And then obviously that's when the research went in, all the research, what to eat, what to not to eat, what's the best thing, what is the research being done. Now, when I went into the research, there was about 7 research papers. There's a lot more now, but at the time I was like, wow, there is nothing. This is not even being researched. That was literally like, and even like there was things like, okay, gluten-free, 75% of people felt better with having a gluten-free diet when they had endometriosis. When I looked at the study, I actually think it was like 100 people that did the study. So it's not really like a massive people. So the studies are not amazing and there needs to be more research and there needs to be more awareness. So this is why we're Endometriosis Awareness Month right now, because there's no research on it. Imagine there was research like, hey, this is how, because there's no reason, we don't know why it happens. There's theories, but there's no proper research on why this happens in our bodies and how to help us and how to diagnose this better. They are getting better and better and better. I've seen loads of research this week on medicine and saliva diagnosis. Like, I don't know when it's going to come out, but this could be amazing breakthroughs. And do you know why? Because endometriosis awareness. So this is why we're here today. So when I got diagnosed with adenomyosis, I then went home to get treatment. Like I didn't do my treatment plan in Bali because I was actually going home after. So it's crazy because I had already went to the doctors loads of times in like where like I just went to and they just obviously told me nothing. So when I come back and was like, here is adenomyosis. And people had directed me to the Mid-Ulster Women's Clinic and I went there, and as soon as he went in, he did a scan, and it's crazy. When they do a scan, I'm like, and he's like, yeah, that's just, to me, screams that we need to go in, because we don't want you to be in pain. Like, so he was like, yeah, we need to have a laparoscopy because adenomyosis usually comes with endometriosis. So, and the thing about it is that I am very privileged because I actually was like, I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to go private. And it really saddens me how much money I have spent on endometriosis treatment, and there's no help. There's no help at all. And a lot of women I know are still waiting on waiting lists to get laparoscopies to get any sort of pain relief, which is hard. And then also some people don't even really benefit from the laparoscopy as well. So it's just like, how do we help this? So yeah, I had hopefully my first and only. I don't want to say that out loud. laparoscopy where they diagnosed me with stage 3 endometriosis. I think there's 4 stages, I'm not sure. But I kind of knew it was bad because he was meant to go in there for half an hour, and I remember coming out and being like, oh, it's a long time since I went under. So that was that. And then I got diagnosed with that and got a little bit of pain relief. I did get a lot of pain relief. I felt like myself again, to be honest. I also went through a lot of dietary changes. I went gluten-free. I went dairy-free sometimes. Not all the time. But for the most part, I try my best to be dairy-free and gluten-free. Does it help? I have no idea. Am I still in pain all the time? Yes. It's not every day, all day, every day, but like it shows up at some... I feel like endometriosis shows up every day in my life at some point, and I've just been able to manage it and I'm adapted to it in my life. But yeah, I had my surgery, and then I tried a few different, because they tell you to go on the coil. I was never keen on that because I do feel like I was never keen on contraception, but I do understand how it works, that is a treatment plan. It's a hormonal treatment plan, because if you stop the hormones that make the endo, then the endo stops. But I'm not really sure how it works, but I went on the pill. I went on the implant, and then I tried another pill, I think. Anyway, all of them made me bleed every day. And I don't even know if it was helping me with my pain or what, but I was bleeding every day, and also my hormones completely shut off. I felt like I had no sex drive. I felt like a completely different person, and I actually missed my normal cycle. So it's hard to distinguish where I need to be, because, you know, you go through your ovulation pain, you go through your period pain, and then you go through your bloating and your constipation, and you're just like, okay, what is better? So it is really, really difficult at the minute. But to be honest, when I'm in good routine, I'm eating regularly, I keep gluten and stuff out of my diet, I do my yoga, I meditate, I feel a million times better. So I've tried loads of different things. I'm on herbs. I went to a naturopath. So I'm with a naturopath. I see her every 6 weeks, and we kind of go through how I'm feeling. And like some periods are bad. Like I'll go have a really bad month, and she'll change up my supplements, and then I'll have these really good months where everything's going really well. So it's hard. We're trying to like get it. And it's us trying to, the thing with naturopath is we are trying to find the solution rather than like mask it, you know? So we're trying to be like, okay, where's this coming from? Because a lot of things comes with endo, and a lot of things are linked. If you have endo, you will know that a lot of people say that things like bacteria and gut issues have got to do with endometriosis as well. And it affects, I don't know which way it affects. Like, is it the reason, or, you know? So I actually got then diagnosed with things like SIBO, which is small intestine bacterial overgrowth, and I've been working on that. I actually had a parasite. So I was having a lot of gut issues along with it. So we didn't know, is it the gut issues? Is it the endo that's causing me pain? But anyway, they both are being seen to be very, very interlinked within the research. And there is loads of podcasts and people talking about it, especially at this moment. And in the naturopath world, they are just seeing this so much. They are seeing endo girls with the same symptoms of SIBO and bacteria, and starting to link things. So working on that with supplements, I use all different types of supplements, to be honest, and they change up all the time. You know, magnesium's really good. And the thing is, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, this is exactly what I take, because like I go by what my tests tell me, because I get blood tests all the time. I get stool tests all the time to see where my bacteria is and stuff like that. Basically on the train now, one of the things I will say is there is light, because when you first get diagnosed, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be in pain forever. But like there is changes that you can make into your lifestyle. I notice when I'm more stressed, when I'm not meditating, when I'm not doing my yoga, all that stuff, that I can have more flare-ups than usual. But when I'm kind of in that really nice flow, then I don't get as many flare-ups. So like stress and the nervous system really I think from my own experience, will add to the symptoms as well. So I think that's a very important thing to me. So I always try to take a positive, and my positive is that it makes me meditate every day or do some sort of yoga or meditation every day, because if I don't, then I'm going to feel like I'm going to get a flare up or something like that. And there's also ways to, I think the awareness of your chronic illness also brings a lot of other things. Like I feel like I didn't realize that I had a lot of constipation issues, because I just thought that, you know, people just go to the toilet every few days. I didn't know if people went every day. I just assumed that was normal. But then I realized that was not normal when I'm starting to speak to doctors, and they're they're like, no, you need to get this out. Like you need to, and like we're finding ways to get my digestion going and get things going. And also the nervous system really affects your digestion as well. So when you're in a stress, fight or flight, your blood is like in your limbs, because fight or flight is like run, run, run. Whilst when you're in a rest and digest state, like, you know, when you come out of yoga, your meditation, that is when all your blood goes to your organs, and that is best for your digestion. So things like that really do help. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Like with diagnosis comes such knowledge. There is so much more out there to help you deal with your pain. And yeah, that's kind of like the journey so far. I do have a few questions about people did ask. To be honest, like the next steps is just managing the pain. Like it's really what you can do for now until I could possibly need another laparoscopy and stuff like that. So people did ask a few questions, and people were asking, am I afraid of fertility? And I just wanted to talk about that because people are like, oh, that's so really personal. Why would someone ask you that? But I'm an open book. And to be honest, I'm not shy to tell anyone that all I've wanted to be is a mom. And that was kind of like the most painful thing when I got diagnosed. I was like, oh my God, I'm afraid. And I vocalized that on my Instagram, and the amount of success stories of people going, Sinead, I have endo, I have 4 kids. Sinead, I have adeno, I have 4 kids. Like it was just bang, 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 one after another. I was like, okay, if they can do it, you know, like the universe has a plan for me, and I'm here to just be in the flow of it and try not to stress over things I can't control. I definitely think that my mindset about having children has sped up. I think I would rather have a baby sooner rather than later, just because I want to know where I am with, like, you know, fertility, because you literally can't know until you try. And that is something I made vocal when I was dating as well. Like I was like, don't be dating me if you don't want to have a baby, because that's what I want. I was very vocal, like that's what I wanted. And I probably would have had one on my own as well. Because it's something that it's my dream, to be honest. And I'm obsessed with babies and children, and I literally can't wait to be a mom. And I just know, and I feel like I just know my inner being, I will be a mom. So I'm just like, I don't want to sit there and stress about it, because I feel like the stress in my body is not going to help the situation. So am I afraid? Yes. But I let go and surrender to what is for me. And I have a very supportive partner who is with me on this journey as well. And he's like, you know, when you're ready, I'm ready. And yeah, so I think I'll not know until I try. I've had my eggs tested, and they were just below average of a 30-year-old, but there was plenty of eggs apparently. Which is good. I had my hormones checked, and my hormones are perfectly, like, because of the naturopath, my hormones are in good check, because I'm taking all the herbs, and then I'm ovulating at the right time. So yes, I am. I think I can definitely get pregnant anyway. Yay. So far so good, but I will hopefully let you know. And then another question was, what do I use when I am flared? When I'm flared, I just take it easy. I can have a few boundaries with my friends, like, oh, I'm just exhausted, I'm a wee bit flared. But to be honest, I'm that used to being flared that, like, I can go about my normal day with, I used to be like feeling uncomfortable and feeling like, but now I'm like, this is part of me. This is part of me, who I am. And I just kind of take it with me wherever I go. Sometimes I'm like, no, not today, guys. But when I'm flared, I just know exactly what I need to do. And I need to have lifestyle changes, which is meditate, get into my rest and digest, yoga, look at, you know, my diet, like what kind of, am I drinking a lot of alcohol and stuff like that. I kind of look into that, because sometimes you're like, fuck it, like I want to enjoy my life, go on holidays, blah, blah, I'll deal with the flare up, I'll deal. And also, like, you end up loving your body so much because you're not defined by your body. Because I feel like I had to get rid of a lot of negative, I feel like I used to define myself with my body, but now since I have this, I'm like, define myself about who I am, and it doesn't matter what my body looks like. If it's flared or not flared, I'm still me. And like everyone else, my friends and family, they love me and want to hang around with me even if I'm flared and have this thing. So it's fine. So yeah, I definitely think flared, go easy, hot baths. I've tried those things. I've tried the TENS machines. I've tried all that stuff. It doesn't work. I just think full decompress, even like the ice baths always really help me. Good sleep. Sometimes you just need a good sleep as well, and stuff like that. So I'm just going to answer a few questions that you put my question box. Did my ultrasound show any signs of endo? No, and I had a lot of ultrasounds and it never showed up. A lot of people are talking about their doctor being dismissive, and it's so frustrating. They're like, my GP is being dismissive and I feel like I have endometriosis. And I went through this whole process of like, please help me. Something is not right. You and us girls know, we know when there is something inside us, we know what's happening, like something is not right. Keep fighting, looking for more people. But the thing is, what's hard about this is that you almost have to then pay, like you have to go private to be listened to as well. Like that's what happened to me, and it's so frustrating. So this is why more awareness is going to help. This is why podcasts like this, talking about it on your Instagram, talking about it to your friends, is going to help, so that people are talking about it all the time. 1 in 10 women have endometriosis at the minute. And it's actually getting more and more people, because now people know about it and they're getting diagnosed easier. So keep talking about it and keep going back to your doctor, or second opinion, or find someone that you know that has it, who got diagnosed, because they will be have more knowledge on it. Did you find that surgery actually helped or worth it? Look, surgery is a weird one, because I don't know, because I paid £4,500 for it. I felt like I got relief after it. I don't know if it was placebo. I definitely felt a lot. No, you know what? It definitely gave me a lot of relief. I felt like I had a lot of endo and I was having a lot of pressure everywhere. So I definitely think it helped for sure. Did I think it was going to get rid of my endo and I was going to be pain-free? Yes. Did that happen? No. Okay. So I definitely think it brings with it pain relief. And especially if you are, looking to get pregnant. I know that people say like they need to go in and have a look at where it is and like, take it out, and then you're more fertile. And I understand that they probably don't want to go in there unless you're actually trying for a baby. A lot of people say that. So if you're in a lot of pain and they're giving you the pill and stuff and you're still in pain, that's kind of like, I think that would be the point. I'm not actually sure. You'd have to get your doctor's advice on that. But personally, it definitely gave me pain relief. And I thought my pain would just go away, but it didn't. But I have adenomyosis as well, which is very different. So adenomyosis can't be cured with the laparoscopy at all. Like endo can't be cured either, but it's there for, like, it's in the lining of my womb. They cannot go in there to get that out. So that's just, they could never touch that. Whilst they touch the endo. So I don't know. And everyone is so different. So I can't say that I actually couldn't really answer that question. So people are like, how did you feel after your surgery? And like, how did you recover? And so to be honest, I thought the surgery, it's the first time I went under. Literally, you close your eyes and you wake up and you're like, wow. And when I woke up, I actually felt like the pain from the surgery was like, how I felt was better than the endo pain. And I felt like, oh wow, this is different. Obviously, you're very bloated for a few weeks and then it starts to go down. And I had a few painful periods after that. And I actually am, I'm at that stage now. So before I told you, sorry, I forgot to say this, but before I told you that, I had like blood clots and everything, I'm kind of now at like really heavy periods and stuff like that. But yeah, so after my surgery, I feel like they must have like cleaned up my tubes and everything. So there must have been stuff stuck. And then like the blood started coming flowing as well. So yeah, I think that the surgery isn't as scary what you think. So if you're getting surgery, don't worry about it. Like honestly, like you close your eyes and you're out, and then your healing is a few weeks, and you're like, I actually felt like it was so much easier than I thought it would be. And like, people are asking about how much money. I have spent a lot of money on endometriosis treatment, and it's so frustrating because I feel like I'm kind of going to all these different people, but no one's talking to each other. I don't know where I'm at. I'm feeling like just kind of doing it on my own or something, and paying all this money and hoping to feel better. And some things do make you feel better. Like, I definitely think the naturopath really helps, and like the supplements and the herbs and getting like proper tests, like a blood test. Oh, my liver's not doing as well, so let's get some supplements for that. Like actually getting proper tests really does help. So that's what the naturopath does. Her name is Laura Wilson. She's in Sydney, but also I used AOK Nutrition in Ireland, if that's of interest to you. And people are like, what's the price? Like it's a lot of money. I am actually hopefully starting a campaign to help with getting money for treatments, basically, for people. Hopefully that will, I don't know how much I can say about that, but I would hope to, because it's honestly so frustrating that people have to pay this money, and it's not on a healthcare plan, you know, it's not like there's no help. So if you can't afford it, what, you can't get it and you just have to live in pain forever. That's ridiculous. Like there has to be another way. There has to be another way. So people are like, are you on the Mirena after your surgery? I did try multiple things. I have tried the coil before. And to be honest, it really didn't agree with me either. I was getting infections. It just was painful. But then also like, is it painful because of the adenomyosis? I don't know. It's hard for me, but like I'd say the Mirena could be something that I will try in the future. Right now I am actually not on anything just because I just came off the implant. That was another mode of hormonal treatment that I was trying, but it led me to bleed every day, which is so annoying. Like you have to get it in, get it out. It's not nice. But anyway, does it get worse if you get older? I do feel like, you know, I do feel like it shows up every day, but I just want to say that it's manageable too sometimes. And I just feel like there's parts where I'm like, I can't leave the house. And there's parts where I'm like, fuck it, let's go. Like I'm fine. We're fine. You can live your life. All right. And there's just times where it can be really bad. Yeah. But I like to focus on my lifestyle at those times. But then everybody is completely different. Like there could be some people that literally can't leave their bed and it's so individual to everyone. But yeah, I feel like I'm kind of on a better path now. I'm feeling a lot better in terms of like before I got diagnosed, it was like an everyday occurrence of pain. So now that I have a treatment plan and I'm kind of working on different things with different people and working on holistically, then there is light at the end of the tunnel. Like the first thing that we need to be doing is awareness. And the second thing is like getting diagnosed quicker. And hopefully we are working on that. And then the next thing we need to do is find ways for women to be able to afford this treatment and be able to help them with paying for this treatment because the money is ridiculous. And that's just what I wanted to do. I just really wanted to give my endo story. If anyone feels like they have endo, you could send it to them and, you know, see it's just another perspective and just what I've been through, I guess. And I'm so lucky to have the best friends and family. I'm so lucky to have the best partner who looks after me. That's actually another question as well. You know, your sex life, my sex life has completely changed because, you know, sometimes I'm in pain and he is just so supportive and I'm so lucky. And you think that you could sit there and be like, oh, I'm such a bad girlfriend and I can't give him like a normal girlfriend gives him. But honestly, you think about if he had something similar happening to him and how much you would just support them as well because you just love them. And like, as long as you talk openly and you communicate, you know, like it can really work and it actually can bring you so much closer together because this person just supports and loves you and has so much compassion. And yeah, it makes you stronger. And there's times that are hard. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but I'm blessed. So that's it for now. And hope you enjoyed my endo story and send this on to anyone if it helps anyone with their endo journey. And thank you very much for listening.